Hello student, welcome to social science class. In the last class I have completed or finished your history chapter 4th, and in this class now here I am with your political science chapter 2nd. It is as per your second evaluation syllabus chapter 2nd it is there. So types and classification of the government. So first, so classification of the government, so it was started by Plato and continued by his disciple Aristotle. According to the Aristotle, different classifications are there. Monarchy, when a single ruler rule. Monarchy, when a single ruler rule the state for the welfare of the people. And the tyranny, it is when a single ruler rule but against the interest of the common people. And next it is aristocracy, when a few people rule. And then polity, when many people rule. And oligarchy, it is also when many people few people rule. And democracy, when rule or governed by many people. Now at present the Leacock classification, number of political scientists are there, so they classified the government into different groups. But Leacock classification, it is most acceptable one at present, and he classified into two. It is dictatorship and the democracy. Now in this dictatorship, when a single individual or when an individual rules, or when a single political party rule and act in a very authoritative manner, so this is called a dictatorship. And democracy, it is when ruled or governed by many people. In the democracy, so what Leacock says, so he classified into monarchy and republic. So now these two types, again in the democracy it is unitary and the federal, and then it is parliamentary and the presidential form of government. So one by one, so unitary, federal, parliamentary, presidential. So one by one we will discuss all these form of government. Now first one, it is the parliamentary form of government, and this type of government, it is most popular at present, and it has been named as parliamentary form of government on the basis of the relation between executive and the legislator. Executive and legislator. So relation between these two. So this is the main basis of this parliamentary form of government, and for the first time this type of government came into being in London. So now we will see that different characteristics of this type of government. Two heads are there. One is nominal head, one is nominal head, one is real head. Now who is nominal head? The nominal head is one who is constitutional. For namesake, he is the head of the state. Say president, okay, president, king, they are the nominal. Real, prime minister and the council of the minister. Real head is prime minister. Now two heads are there. Member of the executive are also the member of legislature. Now executive, these are the council of ministers. Okay, council of ministers. So they are minister, but they are also legislator. Clear? So the distinction between these, the member of legislature and the executive, while I shall discuss the characteristics of the presidential form of government, then this will be more clear to you. So next it is the close relationship. The relationship between executive and the legislature is very close relation. Okay, so executive is responsible to legislator. Okay, and if the legislator they pass the no confidence motion against the council of the minister, so they are bound to tender their resignation. And if it is passed, okay, if the no confidence motion is passed with 2/3 majority, then so they are to tender their resignation. So council of minister, they are the collective responsibility of the council of ministers. So if a particular minister fails, so it is that the whole council of ministers become responsible for the failure of single ministers. Means the whole council of ministers become responsible. Now merit of parliamentary form of government. Now in this type of government, merit, it is the proper understanding and the good cooperation and the cordial relation between executive and the legislator. Government cannot act against the interest of the common people, as executive remain responsible and accountable to the legislator. So legislator, they will ask question, okay, in the parliament they will ask question on all this. So they are responsible and accountable to the legislator. So whatever they do, okay, so their work and activities, all this if goes against the interest of the common people, then they will be questioned in the parliament. So that is why they cannot act against the interest of the common people. So in the parliamentary form of government, the executive or the council of ministers cannot act in a dictatorial manner. So they cannot means act in a very authoritative manner. Okay, so in this system, so check and balance is there. So how check and balance? So if they do, the council of ministers they do, then legislature they will pass the no confidence motion. So next it is that the parliamentary form of government, by giving due importance to the public opinion, so otherwise government will face severe criticism from the opposition. So government is bound to fulfill the wishes of the common people. If government does not do, then they are to face the criticism from the opposition. Clear? So these are the some of the merits. Now say demerits. Now when a single political party fails to get the absolute majority to form government, so then the few-minded political party they form alliance and subsequently they form the government. As a result of this, by making alliance government, in the first chapter you got what is alliance government. So by making alliance, so whenever alliance government is made, so such governments are government is very temporary in nature and not so strong to take a very bold decision whenever any very critical situation comes. So this is one of the demerit. Now ministers of the parliamentary government are generally found to be inexperienced and they are to rely on bureaucrats. So that is why the influence of the bureaucrats are much in this type of government, because we saw that the number of ministers, because of their lack of experience, they too became ministers, but they do not have that much of experience to carry out the administrative mechanism or the task. So that is why what happened, they are to depend on bureaucrats, and as a result influence of the bureaucrats is much in running of the administration by a particular minister or the departments. There is no system of separation of the power in the parliamentary form of government, and therefore council of ministers is invested with executive and the legislative powers. Executive council of ministers, he is the minister, one who is he or she a power, and also the legislative power is also there. There is no separation of this power between executive and the legislator. Council of minister and the legislator. But in the presidential form of government, you will find that means there is separation is there. So these are the demerit. And the next one, it is that in this type of government, the party consideration gets significance. Okay, gets significant upper hand. So in this type, party significant means the party. Okay, so in India, BJP, Congress, number of political parties are there. So party means consideration gets a very upper hand, and the internal politics, okay, squabble among the political parties make the politics quite venomous, very poisonous, which affect the functioning of the government. So it is because of this political party consideration at upper end which result, okay, so the whole environment okay, whole environment become very venomous or very poisonous, and as a result it affects the functioning of the government. So sometimes it happens in a way that the party's high command, they consider the candidate according to the candidate's work, or they check number of things, whether he or she has worked for the party or not, or is he or she is loyal to the party or not, or for how long he or she has been working for the party. And sometimes it also happens that so particular candidate who have a very close family relation with the party high command, so they get, such candidate gets much importance, and as a result, so politics becomes very venomous, and which affect the functioning of the government. Now next, the presidential form of government. These are the some of the demerits. Now next we will see the presidential form of government. Now in this type of government, where the principle of separation of the power between executive and the legislator is there, and both are independent. Executive, legislator and the judiciary, the three organs of the government, all are independent in this presidential form of government. And now at present, the best example here can be cited, it is that the presidential form of government of United States of America. Now some of the features and the characteristics of this type of government: no distinction between head of the state and head of the government. So head of the state as well as the head of the state and head of the government, both are same. Now President of America, he is head of the state as well as head of the government. Unlike there in the Great Britain, say the Queen, she is head of the state, but Prime Minister is head of the government. India, head of the state is President and head of the government is Prime Minister. So presidential form of government, head of the state and head of the government, both are same. There is no distinction between head of the state and head of the government. Now principle of separation of power, it is also there. It is the second characteristic, unlike the parliamentary form of government. So there is a principle of separation power between this executive and the legislator. In the parliamentary form of government, where we got the executive is responsible to the legislator, clear? Executive is responsible to the legislator, and if legislator they pass the no confidence motion against the executive, then they are bound to tender their resignation. But in the presidential form of government, there is no such like this responsibility. Executive is not responsible to the legislature in the presidential form of government, unlike the parliamentary form of government. Now next, it is the fixed period of the head of the state. Now in this form of government, presidential form of government, the period of the head of the state, it is fixed. Say example here in your book is also given the example of this United States of America. Here the period of president, it is of 4 years. Here India, it is 5 years. Now fixed period or the tenure of legislator. Now legislator, their period, it is fixed, and before completion of their period, president cannot dissolve. President cannot dissolve for any reason before expiry of its fixed period, legislator fixed period. Legislator does not get dissolved before fixed period, before ending of their tenure by the president. Clear? Advisory status of the president. President can take the existing advisory cabinet and he can induct the new member also. But last one, it is the rigid constitution. Constitution, it is very rigid. Here rigid means opposite of flexible. Here to amend the constitution, it is very tough. constitution, it is very rigid in nature. So it is very tough to amend. Unlike the flexible constitution. So the constitution which are flexible in nature, it is very easy to amend the constitution. The constitution of India, it is amended more than 100 times. Now some of the merits of the presidential form of government we will see. So that the presidential form of government, it is quite permanent in nature, because the head of the state and the head of the government both are same, and because of this it is very permanent in nature. And next one, it is that the 3 organs are there, and these are the executive, legislative and the judiciary, and all works in their own sphere of influence, and all are independent. So third one is that such government is very useful in the time of any emergency, because head of the state and head of the government both are one, and since the actual power of the government rests on the president himself, and therefore whenever any crisis or a very critical situation comes, and to take a very bold decision, so president, he can take without much wasting time. He can take quick decision without much wasting time. So that is why it is one of the merit of this type of government. Next, it is the executive of this type of government is strong, and so such government can easily safeguard the unity and integrity of the country. Executive is much strong in this type of government, because they are independent, not bound to answerable, and are not responsible to the legislature like the parliamentary form of government, and that is why so they protect, okay, and safeguard the unity and the integrity of the country. Next, the federal government is free from the influence of the political parties. In president is not required to be dependent on the majority support of the Congress. So whatever the decision is supposed to take by the president, he or she is not to rely on the member of the parliament, and he can take the sole decision, and that is why so free from the party politics. The president is free from the party politics. So these are some of the merits of the presidential form of government. Now we will see the demerits of the presidential form of government. Now the presidential form of government, the legislator cannot control the executive. Legislator cannot control the executive. We got this already. And such fear that president can become an autocratic. Okay. So president, he can become autocrat. Okay. So the chance of autocratic existence, it is there in the presidential form of government, because he is free to take the decision whatever he wants. There is no cooperation between the executive and the legislature. This is the demerit. There is no cooperation, and as they are separated in the presidential form of government on the basis of the separation of the principal power separation. So executive and the legislature, these are separated in the presidential form of government. These two organs are separated. Power separation, it is there clearly. So because of this, so cooperation, it is not there between these two, executive and the legislature. Now rigidity of the constitution, it is one of the silent feature of the constitution, and this make the amendment of the constitution, it is very tough. Clear? It is also one of the demerit. How? Because at the time of dire necessity, okay, at the time of dire necessity when arises, so at that time also it is very tough to amend the constitution. So why? Because of its rigidity, okay, rigidity nature. Now executive and the legislator, when these two organs, when are from the member of these two organs, when are from the different political parties, so sometimes crisis may crop up, sometimes crisis may erupt, sometimes crisis may comes up. So this is also the problem. Now presidential form of government, so personal loyalty, then eligibility and the experience get more significance In the appointment of the minister and the secretariat, personal loyalty gets much importance and the significance while appointing the secretariat and the minister in this type of government. Now, advisory committee, when I was discussing the silent features of this government, so I said, now a president, now after means ending of the period of a particular, say, the president, now Barack Obama, when he was the president of America, now he was carrying his administration or the presidency, so with the help of means the advisory committee. So when the Donald Trump became the president, now the existing or the cabinet, okay, advisory cabinet, what the Barack Obama he kept there in the White House, so Donald Trump he can take and he is also free to induct the new advisory committee. Clear? So now here it is also demerit. Now this personal loyalty here works more than the efficiency or the capability. Understood? Now Donald Trump, based on his means the people, those who are loyal, means very loyal to him, he will induct them in the advisory committee. Clear? So these are some of the demerits. Now next form of government is the unitary form of government. Now we will discuss the unitary form of government, and in this type of government, whole central government administer the whole country. Unitary form of government, the central government, in this type of government, central government rule the whole state. Say this is state. Central government rule the whole state by setting up some provincial administrative mechanism or the tools. Clear? Some of the provincial administrative units, some of the provincial administrative units will be opened and the central government rule the whole country. It is unitary form of government. Let's see the features. Now, a strong central government. So to rule the whole state by setting up the some of the administrative unit in the different provinces, so central government need to be very strong. And so it is one of the features that the central government is very strong in this type of government. And the central government is all powerful. Written or unwritten constitution. The constitution of this type of government is either written or unwritten. Now, example of this, England constitution is unwritten, not written. Great Britain does not have a written constitution, and Netherlands, this unitary form of government is there in the Netherlands, and constitution it is written. These are the two examples. Now, single citizenship. Citizenship it is single. So the central government rule the full state. So single citizenship it is there. So dual citizenship, the concept of dual citizenship we will discuss. Dual citizenship, the concept of dual citizenship it is there in the presidential form of government. How? Because in the presidential form of government, so the concept of dual citizenship it is there. One is the citizen of the full, the citizen of the state, nation, and one is the citizen of the constituent province where the particular citizen is living. So in this unitary form of government, single citizenship, the concept of single citizenship it is there. Now, weak judiciary. Judiciary is very weak in this type of government. So judiciary does not have that much of power to pass any verdict against the law made by the legislator. So judiciary cannot pronounce the law enacted by the legislator as unconstitutional. So judiciary is very weak. Judiciary does not have that power to pronounce the verdict as or whatever the law enacted or passed by the legislator as unconstitutional. Clear? Next, flexible constitution. Constitution, it is very flexible in nature, so it is very easy to amend the constitution. So in opposition of this rigid constitution, the constitution of this type of government, it is very flexible. Now, some of the merits of this unitary form of government. Number one, it is that a unitary form of government govern the whole state with the same law, and therefore administration in such form of government, it is found quite effective and the strong. No complexities are to be found. Why complexities are not to be found? Because one central government, it is ruling the whole state. That is why complexities are not there. Much complexities are not there as like in the other form of government, because one central government, it is ruling, and because of this one central government, the carrying of this administrative work by the government, so the expenditure of carrying the administrative work in the state, it is also very less, because only one government, the central government, it is carrying all the administrative works. Now, unitary form of government is very handy and useful in the emergency situation. Why? Because whenever very emergency situation comes, so central government takes very quick decision. So at the time of emergency, so this type of government is very useful. Constitution of this unitary form of government, it is flexible in nature, and it is very easy to amend as and when necessity arises. So the government amend the constitution according to the changing situation in the environment. Now, some of the demerits of the unitary form of government, it is that this type of government is not suitable for a big state country like India, America, such like country. Okay, so big state or the countries, this type of government is not suitable. Now, mass people, they do not get any opportunity to participate actively in the government of the state. As a result, lack of political activeness because of a strong central government. So large number of people, they do not get chance to take part in the functioning of the government. Means active political participation. Active political participation, it is lacked in this type of government. Now, central government is overburdened with the government functioning, because one central government is running the whole state, whole country. So that is why central government is overburdened, and because of this, so regional problem, sometimes regional problems do not get due consideration or recognition in the eyes of government. This is one of the demerit, also one of the demerit of this type of government. And last one is that there is more fear of the unitary form of government becoming autocratic in nature. Autocratic means very authoritative in nature. There is a full chance is there of becoming autocratic in nature of this type of government. Next one is federal form of government. So federal form of government completely opposite of the unitary form of government. So this type of government, it is there in the United States of America, and where the separation of power, it is there. Separation of power between the center and the constituent state or the states. Now, after discussing that, I will ask a question. Now, in the unitary form of government, what we got? One central, strong central government. But here in the federal government, central is there, and constituent state or the province, constituent states. So separation of power between these two is there. Decentralization power, it is known as the decentralization of power. Now, first feature, it is that decentralization of power between center and the constituent state. Now separation of power, executive, legislature and the judiciary completely all are completely independent, complete separation of power among the three different organs of the government. It is there, all are independent to do their work in their own sphere of influence. Now the rigid and the written constitution, the constitution it is written and very rigid, it is very difficult to amend the constitution. Clear? Next, two types of government. How two types of government? Now in this federal government, here in the unitary form of government, what we got? In the unitary form of government, what we got? So one type of government. One type of government, what? Central, only central. Okay, central it is unitary. Clear? Now central and state it is federal. Now one the central government, whole nation, and one is the constituent state government. Now 50 states are there in the America, so America will have 50 different constituent state government and one government of United States of America. Now it is two types of government. Dual citizenship, citizenship it is there. One is that the United States of America, you are the citizen of United States of America and you are the state citizen of say Alabama. You are a citizen of Alabama as well as you are a citizen of United States of America. So the constituent province where you are living, you are also the citizen and you are also the citizen of United States of America. Clear? So this is dual citizenship. And the independent judiciary, it is the next feature. So judiciary is independent, executive, legislative, judiciary, the three organs all are independent. Now some of the merits of this federal type of government now we will discuss. Now this type of government, the constituent province, is entitled to autonomy for self-rule and because of this regional fruits, the regional governing fruits are enjoyed by the common people. Now the constituent province, say this province Alabama, the constituent province, so because of the separation of the power, so the people, those who are living here in this province Alabama, so they are to enjoy the fruit of regional self-rule. Clear? They are to rule themselves, and it become possible, it is because of the separation of power between center and the constituent state. Federal type of government, it is ideal in the big state. This type of government, it is very useful in the ideal, and the state like United States of America, because the state is very big in nature and very composite in nature because of its diversity on the various means aspects like the religion, caste, community, linguistic group all live together. So to represent all the people of different communities, this type of government is very useful. Next, the system of distribution of the power between central and the constituent province or the provincial government relieve the central government. It relieves the central government from resolving the regional problems. Clear? Next merit of this type of government, it is that in this type of government there is less fear of the internal revolution and the central government becoming autocratic because of the system of distribution of the state power. Internal revolution, okay, chance of this internal revolution, it is very less, and chances of this the internal revolution and the very chaotic situation generally do not arise in this type of government. The federal type of government is more democratic because of the decentralization of power and the active participation of the people in the government. Next, demerit of this type of government, there is possibility of conflict between the central government and the provincial government. There is chances of this conflict. Second, there arises complication in the maintaining of the balance of power between central and the provincial government in this type of government. In this type of federal type of government, so there is complication of the maintaining of the balance of power. Okay, sharing of power between central and the state, it is all time it is a question. Okay, it is all time questionable while sharing the power between central government and the provincial government. Now, all types of government, either it is provincial or the central government, so they always want to enjoy or exercise more power. Now, central government, the framer of the constitution generally, at the time of framing the constitution, so the framers, they have not given the much power to the provincial government. You will get all this in details in class 10 also. So by keeping the things in the mind regarding the integrity of the nation, so compared to the central government, if the state government become much powerful than the central government, so the integrity of the nation will be questioned or will be compromised. So that is why provincial government is given power but limited, and central government kept much power. So there is possibility of fair between this sharing of power of between central and the state government. Next demerit, it is that there is also possibility of the birth of regionalism in the federal form of government, which weakens the federal system or the structure. And last demerit, it is, as the constituent government is also there because of the decentralization of power between the center and the state, and as a result, so to carry out the administrative works by the government, by the central government, and as well as the constituent provincial government, and as a result, the expenditure is much more in this type of government. Federal type of government, the expenditure is much more as compared to the unitary form of government. In the unitary form of government, where the one strong central government is there, and this government is fully responsible in carrying the full administrative mechanism across the country, and that is why expenditure is less. But in the federal system, so constituent state is there and the full nation government is also there, and because of this, to carry out the all administrative mechanism or administrative work across the constitution and the constituent provinces and the nation, so expenditure is much more in this type of government. Now my question is, now India, what type of government it is there in India? You search, and those who will get answer, you can tell me over the phone. I have not said about the India and its type of government. The four different types of government: parliamentary form of government, presidential form of government, unitary form of government, and the federal form of government. The four different types of government, its feature, merits, demerits, I have discussed in this class, and with this your chapter is also finished. But India, I have not uttered means the characteristics of the government of India. It is either parliamentary form of government, presidential, unitary, federal. What type of government? It is there in India, that you start, find, or you can correlate, or you can fix or match the different characteristics what we have discussed in these different four types of the government, and accordingly you can give the name, and you can tell. After that, you must tell me over the phone. Clear? Every night you are most welcome to call, and definitely you tell me the types of government which is found in India over the phone. With this, your chapter is finished, and this is all about the day's discussion. You read at your home nicely, and if any doubt is there, 100% you will call me to tell me the answer of the type of the government found in India, and along with that, whatever the problem you find while reading or enjoying this class, so if you face any problem, so call me every night. This is all about the day's discussion. Thanks to all.